For centuries, it has haunted our collective imagination. A utopian city, lost beneath the waves, swallowed by the ocean, in a single catastrophic day. A legend whispered through millennia, yet persistently refusing to be dismissed as mere myth. Today, we pull back the veil, venturing into the deepest mysteries, to reveal the shocking truth about Atlantis and its most probable, mind-bending location. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew. Our story begins, as all stories of Atlantis must, with the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. It was he who, around 360 BC, first documented the tale of Atlantis in two of his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. Plato didn't just invent a fable, he presented it as a genuine historical account, passed down through generations. According to Plato, the story was relayed to him by his ancestor, Solon, a revered Athenian statesman and poet. Solon, during his travels to Egypt, conversed with wise priests in Say who recounted the epic history of Atlantis. These priests claimed their records detailed events 9,000 years before Solon's time, a staggering 12,000 years ago by our modern reckoning. Plato described Atlantis as a powerful, advanced island nation, larger than ancient Libya and Asia Minor combined, situated beyond the Pillars of Heracles, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. Its capital city was a marvel of engineering, concentric rings of land and water, connected by navigable channels, boasting magnificent harbors, and a central citadel housing a golden temple to Poseidon. The Atlanteans, initially virtuous, grew corrupt and ambitious, attempting to conquer the Mediterranean world. Their expansion was ultimately thwarted by the valiant Athenians, according to Plato's narrative. But the true catastrophe struck afterward in a single, dreadful day and night. Atlantis was engulfed by the sea, vanishing into the depths due to violent earthquakes and floods. This cataclysmic event, Plato claimed, left the surrounding seas impassable due to vast shoals of mud, a lasting testament to the sunken land. For millennia, scholars debated, was Atlantis a moral allegory, a cautionary tale crafted by Plato to illustrate philosophical ideals? Or was it a distorted memory of a real, devastating historical event, perhaps magnified and embellished over time? The sheer specificity of Plato's descriptions, the geography, the societal structure, the advanced technology, fuels the relentless search. The idea of a lost, highly advanced civilization, swallowed by time and disaster, resonates deeply with something primal within us. It whispers of forgotten knowledge, of a grand past we've only glimpsed, of a secret history waiting to be uncovered. Before we plunge deeper into the abyss of forgotten history, if you're as captivated by these ancient enigmas as I am, take a moment to hit that like button. It truly helps us bring more untold stories to light. So, where do we begin our quest for this mythical city? Archaeologists, geologists, and adventurers have scoured the globe, from the icy wastes of Antarctica to the sun-drenched sands of the Sahara. The theories are as numerous and diverse as the currents of the ocean itself, each with its own compelling clues and confounding questions. One of the most enduring and geographically persuasive theories points to a place far from the Strait of Gibraltar, yet equally steeped in volcanic drama, the island of Santorini, or what was once known as Thera. Imagine a thriving Bronze Age civilization, the Minoans, whose influence spanned the Aegean Sea. Their culture was rich, their art vibrant, their naval power formidable. On the island of Thera, a magnificent city named Akrotiri flourished, often called the Minoan Pompeii. It featured multi-story buildings, complex plumbing systems, intricate frescoes, and a level of sophistication astonishing for its time. But Around 1600 BC, Thera's central volcano erupted with a force unimaginable. It was one of the largest volcanic events in recorded history, dwarfing Krakatoa or Mount St. Helens. The eruption obliterated the center of the island, creating a massive caldera that instantly plunged into the sea. The resulting tsunamis, hundreds of feet high, devastated coastal settlements across the Aegean, including the heartland of the Minoan civilization on Crete. This cataclysm plunged the entire region into a single, dreadful day and night of destruction, mirroring Plato's account. The island of Thera, before the eruption, was essentially circular, with a central landmass and surrounding sea, very much like Plato's description of Atlantis's capital. The lost aspect comes from the fact that much of the ancient island literally sank or was buried under layers of ash and pumice. The Minoans were a highly advanced maritime power, much like the Atlanteans. However, there's a significant chronological discrepancy. Plato placed Atlantis 9,000 years before Solon, which would be around 12,000 years ago. The Thera eruption occurred closer to 3,600 years ago. Could Plato, or the Egyptian priests, have misinterpreted the timeline, perhaps mistaking thousands for hundreds of years? Or perhaps the story was simply so ancient, the dates became fluid, much like the changing tides. As historian Spyridon Marinatos famously stated, the legend of Atlantis could well have a strong factual basis in the destruction of Thera. The parallels are striking: the sudden obliteration, the advanced island culture, the tsunamis. But the mystery doesn't end in the Aegean. Our next potential site takes us to a place so unexpected, so desolate, it almost defies belief. The Eye of the Sahara, also known as the Richat structure in Mauritania. From above, this geological marvel appears as a giant, perfect bullseye in the middle of the desert, almost 50 kilometers in diameter. Concentric rings of rock, eroded over millennia, form an uncanny resemblance to Plato's description of Atlantis's capital city. Rings of land and water, great and small, alternately around a central island. Initially dismissed as a simple impact crater or volcanic dome, geologists now understand. The Richat structure is a deeply eroded dome, created by a geological uplift. Its unique shape, however, continues to baffle scientists. The rings are not just superficial. They are distinct geological layers, much like the alternating zones Plato described. And what about the water aspect? Geological evidence suggests that during the last ice age, this region was significantly wetter, with rivers and lakes flowing through it. Imagine this arid desert 12 millennia ago, green and lush, with a prominent circular feature at its heart, possibly surrounded by channels of water. The location, far from the sea today, presents a challenge. However, theories of massive ancient floods, tectonic shifts, or even a tsunami-like event from a meteorite impact or glacial melt could have once connected it to a larger body of water. Or perhaps Plato's sea was a large freshwater lake, immense enough to be described in such terms. Proponents of the Richat structure theory point to the consistent dimensions, the concentric design, and the geological age that aligns eerily well with Plato's timeline. Furthermore, the structure itself contains specific rock types and colors that match some of Plato's descriptions for Atlantis's building materials. The Pillars of Heracles often define the entrance to Atlantis's realm. Could this ancient landmark have been a misinterpretation or a different geographical marker entirely? In a world whose coastlines and river systems have vastly changed over 12,000 years, this theory challenges our conventional understanding of ancient geography, forcing us to consider a world dramatically different from our own. Now, with these incredible possibilities laid out, I have to ask, Which of these locations, if any, do you find most compelling? Share your own theories and evidence in the comments below. The collective wisdom of this community is astounding. Yet another compelling, albeit controversial candidate takes us to the shallow waters off the coast of Bimini in the Bahamas. Here, beneath the clear turquoise waters, lies a perplexing formation known as the Bimini Road. Discovered in 1968, this underwater road is a perfectly linear stretch of large rectangular and polygonal limestone blocks extending for hundreds of meters. For decades, divers, archaeologists, and enthusiasts have debated its origin. Are these perfectly aligned blocks remnants of a cyclopean ancient roadway, a harbor wall, or even part of a sunken city? Or are they merely natural beach rock formations, fractured and shaped by tidal forces and erosion over thousands of years? The Bimini Road gained significant attention due to the psychic Edgar Cayce. Years before its discovery, Cayce had prophesied that parts of Atlantis would rise near Bimini in 1968. This extraordinary prediction, seemingly fulfilled, captivated the imagination of many. Proponents argue that the sheer regularity of the blocks, their apparent purposeful arrangement, suggests human intervention. They point to similar megalithic structures found in ancient civilizations across the globe, often associated with advanced building techniques. If it is man-made, the implications are profound. A sophisticated culture capable of constructing such monumental structures, existing thousands of years ago, now lost beneath the waves. However, geological studies contend that the Bimini Road is a natural phenomenon. They argue that these are simply intertidal beach rocks, formed through a process of cementation and then broken into rectangular shapes by wave action and seismic activity. As marine geologist Dr. Eugene Shin explained, it's a natural beach rock pavement. There's nothing unusual about it. The debate rages on, fueled by the tantalizing possibility that Bimini hides a fragment of Atlantis. Beyond these prominent theories, the hunt for Atlantis has led researchers down countless other fascinating, albeit speculative, paths, where ancient, highly advanced civilizations indeed flourished, leaving behind enigmatic structures. Could the Andean mountains be the pillars, and the vast plateaus the island, in a landlocked yet equally dramatic cataclysm? Others have searched for Atlantis in the cold depths off Antarctica, theorizing that radical pole shifts or crustal displacement could have moved a once temperate continent to its current icy location. This theory, popularized by figures like Charles Hapgood, suggests a civilization thriving in an Antarctic paradise before geological upheaval. Even islands like Malta or Cyprus have been proposed, each boasting incredibly ancient megalithic temples and histories of sudden, devastating natural disasters. But for many, the true Atlantis lies not in a physical location, but within the realm of allegory. Perhaps Plato's genius was in crafting a narrative so compelling, so vivid, that it transcended mere storytelling to become a foundational myth of Western civilization. A myth that serves as a timeless reminder of human ambition, hubris, and the impermanence of even the greatest empires. Yet, the human heart yearns for discovery, for the tangible proof, the detailed accounts, the echoes of cataclysm, the specific descriptions of architecture continue to pull us towards a physical truth. The very act of searching for Atlantis pushes the boundaries of our understanding of ancient history, geology, and even human potential. Every new underwater discovery, every seismic survey, every re-evaluation of ancient texts brings us a step closer to understanding our past. The truth about Atlantis, whether it be a magnificent sunken city, a cataclysmic volcanic eruption, a desert wonder, or a profound philosophical lesson, remains one of humanity's greatest unsolved mysteries. It forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge, to consider that the stories passed down through generations might contain far more truth than we initially believed. The quest for Atlantis continues, a testament to humanity's insatiable curiosity. If you've been enthralled by this journey into the unknown and want to uncover more secrets of our world, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Join our expedition into history's greatest mysteries through Voices from History, because the truth is often stranger and far more exciting than fiction.